Hello everyone. My name is Antoine Rivard-Landry. I will play for you Scriabin's fourth piano sonata. Um, I decided to play that piece because it was a big challenge for me when I was younger. And for me, Scriabin is about a lot of things, but one of the things that he's about is challenge and how to overcome yourself and to sort of become a better version of yourself all the time. So that piece for me is about that. It's about overcoming myself. Thank you.
Bravo, it's a very difficult piece. And you did marvelously well many things. Some things I think I could help, even though I will not be able to demonstrate many things because some of the textures in it really work, and I played it like 20-something years ago. But before we start, would you have something to say yourself about your playing, what you would like, what do you think before that you think you would want to improve? Or
for me, what I would like to be better is my focus.
Okay.
Because I sense that I lose focus of what I'm doing, and I know that because I have trouble telling you
what you did.
Yes, like at the first section.
But it's not a bad sign, because Scriabin in a way asks us to lose ourselves into the music. It's a very spiritual, mystical, ecstatic experience.
Yes.
Especially this sonata is so important in the history of music, but in Scriabin's writing, because we consider it to be the first one that he really went from his Chopinesque area. I mean, the third sonata is very Chopinesque, and he went into the zone of the mystical chord that he wrote that goes something like this, I think, if I remember. Yeah. And he takes out of this lots of scales and harmonies and plays with this. It's still tonal, but it's going really to, and I don't know. I before we came here, I actually tried, because I wanted to quote many things, but I wouldn't be able to say it as good as he did. You know that he wrote a poem about this sonata.
Yeah.
Have you read it?
Yes, I could not recite it, but yes.
But maybe for the public, I'm not a very good reciter, but I think it's important to. It's just so beautiful. Where is my phone? To recite and just to understand what this sonata is about, because we have the luxury of having a composer with an amazing imagination and wonderful in writing that basically describes to us. He starts from, the first movement. There is this theme. It's with a mystical chord, and when I first played it, I thought about, I came from a family with lots of animals, so I thought about these insects that glow in the light. I don't know how you say it in English. Firefly. And I thought about this. But actually, when you read his poem, he's thinking about even more beautiful. He thinks about a faraway star through the mists, and you see the glimmering lights. And the whole experience of this piece, the more it becomes mystical, the more it becomes ecstatic. He's describing the star becoming into a sun, and his body flying. The second movement is prestissimo volando, it's flying. So he's flying towards the star, and the stars become sun, and in the end he's being engulfed. The sun is him, and he's all glowing. It's like couldn't be more Scriabin. And maybe I can read it badly, but I don't. I think it would be nice for the public. Yeah. So again, it's translation from Russian, of course. Sorry, I can't. Ничего in Ruski. But yeah, in a light mist, transparent vapor, lost afar and yet distinct, a star gleams softly. How beautiful the bluish mystery of her glow becomes me, candles me. Or bring me to thee, far distant star, bathe me in trembling rays, sweet light. Sharp desire, voluptuous and crazed, yet sweet endlessly, with no other goal than longing, I would desire. But no, I vault in joyous sleep, freely I take wing, mad dance, godlike play, intoxicating, shining one. It is toward thee, adored star, my flight guides me, mad dance, godlike play, intoxicating, shining one. Toward thee, created freely for me to serve the end, my flight of liberation. In this play, sheer caprice, in moments I forget thee. In the maelstrom that carries me, I veer from thy glimmering rays. In the intensity of desire, thou fadest, O distant goal. But ever thou shinest as I forever desire thee. Thou expanded star, now thou art a sun, flamboyant sun, sun of triumph. Approaching thee by my desire for thee, I have myself thy changing waves, O joyous God. I swallow thee, sea of light, myself of light, I engulf thee. So basically, this is, I'm saying this because when we will now play the piece, it's really literally going line by one with what he wrote till this amazing ecstasa in the end where he is the light. And I think that, you know, we had a teacher, Yossi and me, Prina, who every piece ever that we played, the most important thing was to define the character. It's a Cortot-esque kind of approach. And here it's all about this. And of course, there are a million technical challenges, but I think that all of them should be guided by the intention. Like in every music, but especially in Scriabin, it's so important because it's never just notes, it's never just dexterity of... It's always a very passionate way to look at colors, at emotions through the notes. So it's never just texture. Okay? Maybe we can start with the first movement. And if you remember in the poem, he writes the first moment, it's kind of a star through mists with this blue light. It's very and mysterious. So I think the mystery, you played it beautifully, but I think could be a bit more with mystery.
Okay.
It was very, very beautiful at the beginning, but already here when you go dun, dun, it's this harmony is so beautiful already. Not too much. There's something still tender about it. Don't go so directly into this harmony. It was a bit direct. It was a bit from daily life.
Okay.
It's just you have to enjoy the specialness of it. It can be with more sound also. It's just the specialness, okay? He does write here rubato, and you did it quite squarish rubato. And I won't tell you how to do the rubato because each one has its own feeling. But I personally, because I heard many different versions, of course, each one more wonderful than the other. I mean, we all love Sofronitsky and others, but it's rubato, and then he also make a dotted legato, so a portamento. So. And he also writes in the poem there is always this desire. So you're going towards a certain desire. And this is an element that comes again and again, and I think it's an element of desire. There is a lot of lust and desire in Sky. It's very sensual. Small remark, very small, but it's repeating again the phrase with small changes, which will lead, of course, for the development of it. But even if it's undone, and if you take your time, never cut the line of the phrase, because you already started, you already introduced us the theme. It's the second time the theme comes, we can't disconnect it. There is a certain... So, because if it's, You understand?
Yeah.
It's not a matter of tempo. It's a matter of hearing the line in your head and be totally swimming in it. You know, because this is Scriabin. He's intoxicated all the time, so it's a bit drugged. And he did take opium, so we know that. Yeah. So nothing to offer a commendation. It's just for the camera. Yeah. And every time there is delicately, but there is always this will, there is always this desire.
Okay.
He goes towards harmony, he goes towards interval. He never just plays them. Again, it was very nice, the phrasing, but again, he changes the harmony here. Enjoy this beautiful new harmony. Everything you did, but just in terms of sound, I think that it's nice that you shined a bit there in this. It was beautiful, but be careful to shine not too strongly, because we are still all the time in piano dolcissimo. He wrote. Yeah. Okay. So it's not only dolce, it's dolcissimo. Okay. So it's just a matter of balances, but the phrasing was absolutely beautiful. Okay. It's all still in a very mysterious place.
Yeah, sometimes
Yeah, we have a whole 8 minutes to go on this ride. I mean, hang on and hold your seats, you know. Yeah. Everything is really delicate still, okay? You know, it's a motif that comes. It's a bit. It's shimmering. Yeah. It's shimmering. Very nice. Left hand to the texture is a bit too heavy for this kind of place. Okay. It's and it takes a bit of the shimmering of the right hand. If you can do the same but a bit more delicate left hand. It doesn't mean that it's not existing. Yeah, it gives a This is really the star he was speaking about. Yeah, this is a star. Try a bit, but this is good that it's still glittering. Yeah. So. I mean, I'm not doing it well now, but the fact that it's glittering on the right hand doesn't mean that it's still the main material. The main material is the theme, and the theme you did beautifully, but you can do it with more heart, with a bit more beauty of sensuality. Okay. It's always bathing in this beauty all the time. Yeah. Okay. said that you have to be in love with the music you are playing before. Yeah.
What?
You have to be in love with the music you are playing.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. Yes. It was all very beautiful. Be careful not to repeat the same thing that happened in the beginning when the phrase is a bit cut. It doesn't mean that you have to rush anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you have to rush. It's just there is a certain flow that even if it's a bit difficult to do it, but there is a certain flow that you should always keep.
Oh, I see.
Okay? With the delicacy.
Okay.
But it was very nice and we can continue. And now when you're entering the pianissimo, it should be even more delicate shining.
Yeah.
And the poco crescendo, it means that you can sing a little bit more. Okay? It was very beautiful, but try just to take a bit out the just okay. A bit more legato before this. It doesn't mean that you have to take a lot of time, it's just to sing it. And this is just a bit of work, but the more you can do smorzando, the better.
Yeah.
With still hearing the notes, but it's a real fading away in the sky, and it's a glittering smorzando.
I see.
Needs some work, yeah.
Okay.
But it's just that you have the ideal in your head.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you just keep it like this. And with Scriabin there is no stone unturned.
Yeah.
Every small element is an expression of emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So this smorzando, for example, it's a bit technical part, but it should express this fading away of this glitter. You have to really, once you have this ideal in your head and you work it at home, it will come.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah, I promise. You just need a... Okay? Okay. We continue. By the way, it's a bit, so it's basically, it's in a different context, but you handle the remembering it as eventually it's the same material. I mean, it's a grain that will go on, and then of course when you have in the piece the coda, you know. So never neglect this element because it doesn't go. Sorry. Or something. It's never atmospheric. It's still. It still always reminds you of the theme. It doesn't become a different texture. Okay. And I don't want to be too nagging, but again, every time you do the theme, then it comes from above the shine. It's not in the same sphere.
Yeah.
It's a response. So it would be more defined if you think about that, because it sounded a bit on the same level. Dynamically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so just a little bit difference of colors. Yeah. It's not strong, huh?
Yeah.
Careful, because the intention is good, but it's not staccato.
Oh.
It's short, but it's not staccato, because you already changed the natural. It's a preparatory. It's mysterious. Yeah, it's just. There is something that is going to happen, but it's not a. It's not a jolly, happy place.
Okay.
Everything very well done. Here, of course, yeah, you have to work a bit on the soprano.
Yeah.
Like this. So something. So there is a little of electricity.
Yeah.
It's not aggressive or anything, but there is electricity here.
Okay.
This is what he was saying. The dance, he was mad dance that he was, and the liberation and the joy.
Yeah.
So the joyous part. So that's starting here, and he says that he's flying. This is Passaggio volando. So there is this excitement. I have to work. So it needs a bit of work. Themes,
No.
These themes, it's a dialogue between the right hand, which is shimmering, and the left hand, which is yeah. Still not really there because you are very occupied with technical demands, which is understandable, but actually when you work on it slower later at home, when you will have when you work a bit like this and then you play it faster, you will see that it actually gives you more convenience to play it, because it gives you a kind of an anchor in a way, and then the right hand can do. So, You understand? Right now we are so occupied with both hands simultaneously, and you don't really have the anchor, and it also loses a bit the theme.
Okay.
So this is very important to work when you have time, because we won't fix it immediately now, but okay? Now you came to the climax of this place, the Ratenendo, and he writes accent actually on the theme on the left hand, really showing you here. It's like, and you even take a bit of time to. He gives you a bit of time to show it, and what happened is that you came there, and you gave the accents on the right hand.
Yeah. Okay.
You saw. So it is already indication for everything that has to be worked already before. Yeah. And here it's a climax of the intention, so even more than before you really okay, and then you go back to the forte. Yeah. Okay. To piano, because there was one thing that happened when you played the second movement toward the climax, which is a very important thing, is that in all the many textures that he writes, and he breaks them, it's really like fragmented, but it's a very kind of Lisztian thing. It's a transformation of a theme all the time. Yeah. So it goes through different rights, even though the structure is quite classical. It's a classical sonata structure where you have the development, you have the reprise. But there is all these transformations. And when I listened to you before, I saw many beautiful things, but everything a bit scrambled in my ears because it was in many times on the same dynamical levels. And he does give you indications very exact about what he wants. So he wrote you a diminuendo, and you always keep the tension, even in pianissimo places. In this movement, there is no place of release of tension, but you go to a mysterious piano. So it's a. So it develops, but you have to go. If you don't go down to this piano, our ears will not understand what's happening here. Okay. Even before he already has a piano, you didn't go down, it's here.
Oh.
You see?
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean release of tension. Always with this tension of the rhythmic, there is this bubbling thing with a light that is going towards this light, but you have to very be careful to go down. Many times you stayed on the mezzo forte, mezzo piano level. There is lots of pianissimos, the piano's full of mysteries and central colors that are shimmering all the time here. But basically this remark, I mean, there are many things to say about it, but this remark will follow you in the other textures. Okay. Be very aware of the dynamics and how it leads you with attention to the final climax. Okay. Okay?
Good.
And then in the end you're engulfed with light and
yes. Good. Thank you.
It's, bravo. Pleasure.